Hi, everyone. It's the Biohacking Blondes here, Molly and Alex, and we have some special guests today. We've got Mike Squared, Mike and Mike, Mike Geyer, who's the CEO and founder of Pneuma Industries, and Mike Lowe, who's the Director of Operations and Sales at Pneuma. So they are committed to health and wellness through hyper-dissolved oxygen and nanobubble technology for drinking water consumption and immersion in swimming pools, spas, and hot springs. So this is a very hot topic. And by the way, everyone we know who works in water has the name Mike. Have you realized that? Like Mike, the other Mike, everyone's named Mike in water. It must be. We should look that up later, see if it has some sort of water. But anyway, they have a really cool company. They make all kinds of cool things for water. Their mission is to strive to provide technology that improves your quality of life while activating the body's endless ability to heal itself, strengthen its defense mechanisms, and promote wellness and vitality through hyper-dissolved oxygen technologies. So Mike G, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came into this business?
I probably started in this business back in like 2005. I started in the commercial swimming pool industry and quickly found out how much I didn't like swimming pools and found out how bad water quality really was. And since then, I started in, that's kind of funny, but I worked in swimming pools. Everybody would always ask me if I had a swimming pool, and I was like, heavens no, I would never have a swimming pool. And
Wow.
that's before we started into this business. So back then, and then as we grew, just started to start our own company. That was back in 2011. We came across the technology towards the end of 2011 and started developing it way back then, just kind of learning a little bit more about it and so forth. But our strength was understanding water and water chemistry. So that's what really kind of developed the company and so forth. We had a high focus on understanding water, and we just found out it's just like endless. So ever since then, we just started studying more and more about just water, different technologies, how it affects water, different industries. It's not just about swimming pools. We've gone outside the industry, learned more about wastewater, drinking water treatment, lake treatment, all these different types of water treatment, even the ocean and so forth, to understand water and how it's treated, what different aspects they look at the water to really understand it better, which just then you pull all of this in, and even through like biochemistry and so forth. But since then, we've just kind of taken everything that we've learned, and we continue to learn more from different doctors and scientists and so forth, to continually improve upon water. That's ultimately our goal, is improving water quality in one way, shape, or form. So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Nice. And what does Pneuma mean? You're the name of your company.
Pneuma, that's a good question. We looked that up, and we were looking for something that really had some meaning to it. Most of the companies we look at, we try to get something that has something behind it. Pneuma means God's breath. So
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
so God's breath. So we understand, obviously oxygen is the major building block of that, but water is also. So you have to have both. Everything has to have both. All living creatures, everything. Our body's 75% water, but without oxygen, you're still not going to be alive. So you got to have both.
Wow.
So that's
Very
that's
cool.
where we got that from. Yeah.
That's a great name. I had never heard of that before. That's
No, that's great. I love it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what does just I'll let Alex go next, but one more question.
Oh,
What does so tell people what for like the layman's person, what does hyper dissolved oxygen mean? And how does it help them?
So hyperdissolved oxygen is basically another term. There's two terms for it. One is the most commonly, which is nanotechnology or nanobubbles. The more technical term that's going to go to is ultra fine bubbles. And the reason why they have that, they're going to separate it, is to define what an ultrafine bubble means. The size of the bubble makes all the difference, whether it's nano or whether it's not nano. Because you have ultrafine, you have fine, you have micro. A lot of times you'll hear people say micro nano. That's like an oxymoron. It's like big, small. So
Right.
it doesn't fall in the same category. So that's ultimately what ultrafine bubbles mean, or hyperdissolved oxygen mean. It falls under quantum physics, which is nanotechnologies.
And can you dive a little deeper into that? Why do we want to have that? Why do we want to have these nano super small bubbles? For what reason?
For what reason? Okay, so ultrafine. Here's the thing with ultrafine. It's been quite the tread, the expedition, however you want to say it, on there, finding out more about what they do. So when we started into this technology and so forth, we really had no idea what we were dealing with. And this is back in 2011. So the amount of things it does are just exponentially. I mean, it's so far in depth. You're talking, when you talk about it, it's quantum physics. So the size of the bubble, when it goes into water, I'll give you a basic on there. So when we feed it into the water, we create 100 million ultrafine bubbles per milliliter of water. That's using oxygen. So it's like the top of your bottle cap, 100 million, and you look at that, but you can't see them. They're there, but you can't see them, and it's like, oh my gosh. So when and it's constantly feeding. So when you get more and more of these ultrafine, they stay in solution. Here's the other beautiful part, is they stay in solution for literally weeks at a time. So they can be in there for a month. They can be in there and it depends on the different characteristics of the water, what you're treating, what the chemistry of that water is, and so forth. How much biomass, etc. All these different factors affect that. But the most important part is you're getting an element that water truly needs. So when you look at just more of an easier way to kind of look at it, like a lake, you see these lakes that kind of turn turbid, and they're nasty and they're smelly and so forth. It's
Yeah.
because they go acidic, and everything dies and the plants die because there's no oxygen in those. You get all the runoff from all the, God knows what pesticides, oils, and everything that we get from different industries and from the roads and all of that. So you get all of this massive junk from the environment that goes into these different bodies of water, and it just overloads. So the things that are supposed to be providing the oxygen for those bodies of water, which is our plants and so forth, and seaweeds and that sort of thing, are dying. So you have less. So the body of water becomes more acidic, and then it becomes rancid. So the beautiful part about this technology is now when you add it to that water, it increases. I mean, literally, you're putting billions upon billions, and it's feeding 24/7. So just to kind of give you a view of that. So as the oxygen levels come up, everything starts to kind of eats through that biomass, and it starts to replenish and rebalance those lakes and those different bodies of water and so forth. So which is really important. And then when you're using it like what we use it for, we use it for obviously soaking. So way back when, we'll keep it back in the day. So until we get to today's, where we're at today. But back then, when you're soaking in it, we had no idea what it was going to do, but the softness of your skin, it cleans your skin out really well. So, I mean, technically, you didn't have to take a shower. So you got done swimming in the morning. If you swam laps in the morning in your pool, you wouldn't have to take a shower, because you're actually cleaner than the water that's coming into your house. So which is kind of crazy. People are like, what? You didn't take a shower? It's like, no, you wouldn't want to take a shower.
Yeah.
And a lot of people even ask that question. They're like, gosh, you know what? I swam this morning. They go, I felt so good. They said, I didn't even want to take a shower. My skin felt great. I didn't stink. It was great. And they're right, because it does a great job of cleaning you.
Yeah.
So I know that's a lot, but I think that answers kind of what we're.
Does it affect your hair too? Do you go under and does it like help your hair grow better, or what does it do to the hair? Sorry, that's always my
Yeah.
curiosity.
Well, because you're blonde and
Right.
it turns green, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if the blondes go in, a regular pool, and even my daughter has naturally blonde hair, but she goes in the pool all, summer long, and her hair is almost green by the end of it. It's really like
Yes.
we chop it off every summer because it's too much to deal with all the chlorine from all the pool stuff, which,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, because
Yeah.
they're in the pool all the time.
Horrible.
Yeah.
I will say this. There's unique characteristics about being in the water that we've learned over the years, and this is not even coming from us. This is just coming from clients, which is really kind of cool. I like to get real people that have real changes in their lives and so forth that you can share with others. So I'll give you the list. This is actually really cool. So number one was doesn't make your hair green at all. As a matter of fact, you're like swimming in natural
Yeah.
drinking water, almost quality, better than drinking water quality.
Yeah.
Two is it cleans everything out, cleans the pores of your skins out. It'll strip down all of your dead skin. So people with psoriasis absolutely love it because it literally strips their entire body of all the dead skin
Amazing.
after like 3 days.
Wow.
As
That's
long as they continue to use the pool, they never deal with the dry skin again. So that was really cool. Three, it's like being in salt water except softer. That was really cool.
Mhm.
If you're in the water and you're in the water all day long, a lot of times you get burning and stuff, like your kids get the raccoon eyes and so forth. No more. And now it's really that was a really interesting one. I tried to figure that out. I had a customer call and they're like, "Oh my gosh, none of my kids burned in the pool this year." And I'm like, and I wasn't sure where they were kind of going with it. They're like, "Well, they burn every year." They go, "The only thing that's changed is we put your system in here and they're not burning." And I'm like, "What? Did you use sunscreen?" And they're like, "No." They're like, "We didn't use any sunscreen, nothing else."
Really?
That's
And
incredible.
they go, "Not only did they not burn, he said they got darker because they're very light complected." He goes, "They got darker." I'm like, interesting. Okay. And so again, the search continues. So we talk to different doctors and so forth. And he goes, makes sense. He goes, what happens is because there's no chlorine, and the chlorine is a disinfectant oxidizer, and it's actually drying out your skin with the sun, the heat, and all of that. So you got all these other different things that are working against you. Now you have oxygen, and it's a high amount of oxygen being in the water. So this is cool, is your skin is actually the last thing on the hierarchy of the body to get oxygen. As a matter of fact, it's last. So a lot of your scars and stuff don't fully heal because you don't get enough oxygen to them to heal. Your body's busy doing other things and so forth. So it doesn't always heal. So the scars on these people, certain people, the scars started going away. Some of them completely disappeared that was in the water for long periods of time. I was like, oh my gosh. They had spots. I don't know what the spots were. They go, yeah, I used to have these spots in my head and here and there. And he goes, they're gone. I'm like, okay, that's
Wow.
cool. I don't know what kind of spots they were, but whatever spots they were, they're gone.
Yeah.
But
Like
yeah, so those were what's
like a
that?
like a sunspot. That's a big deal.
They're the brown spots. So I
Okay.
guess it's hard to say. I mean, I suppose you get spots for all sorts of different things, like say it's sunspots, age spots. I don't I don't know what other spots they would be, but nonetheless, a lot of the spotting went away, the scarring went away, there was no burning, that sort of thing. So it was really, really neat to try and learn more as to why. So I haven't learned 100% on the spot thing, but it was kind of cool to hear it though.
So it
Wow.
sounds like every day you're discovering something new, and
Oh,
it's like, right?
oh
So
yes.
just quickly, I mean, ozone as well as part of it is hyperdissolved oxygen and ozone. So why have you added ozone as well?
Ozone is a very powerful disinfectant. So one is uh we were running oxygen for a long period of time and no ozone or anything in the water, and it did a great job. It doesn't raise what they call the oxidation reduction potential in the water, and it's a method of seeing the power of the water's potential to oxidize and disinfect different organisms and just dirt, debris, that sort of thing that comes into the water. So the higher oxidizing potential, the stronger the water is at disinfecting and oxidizing those different things that come in there. And oxygen by itself is a very mild oxidizer and disinfectant, but I look at it, everything works in numbers. And because we have billions and billions of these things working for us, number one, they are negatively charged. So you have these negatively charged oxygen bubbles in that body of water. So anything that comes in there that's positively charged, dirt, debris, lotions, oils, lotions and potions and stuff that come in there, it surrounds that and it pushes it up to the surface. So that's why the water stays crystal clear all the time. And the body of water itself will never turn green. You might get like algae on the sides and so forth, but the body of water itself never turns green. So when you add in ozone, ozone is nothing more than 3 oxygen molecules. That's basically all it is through the process. You basically, I'll briefly explain. So you have an oxygen molecule, which is 2 oxygen molecules. It splits, it attaches to another oxygen molecule. Instead of being O2, it becomes O3. And then that is the power of ozone. So it'll grab on and it'll disinfect something and then it goes back to being oxygen. So the beautiful part is when you're using ozone, you have no byproducts. Once it's done, it goes back to being oxygen. So you're left with more oxygen in the water rather than a byproduct of chlorine and all these other chemicals you use.
But also ozone has tremendous health benefits for the
Oh,
body, right?
absolutely.
Yeah. And because it's
Yes.
nanoparticles, I think you want to touch on, like, you're sitting soaking in the
Yes.
tub, nanoparticles, like, can it go through the skin?
Yes.
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 Right? That's the
Goes-
delivery mechanism, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
So the beautiful part is that's a good point. The other thing is very important to understand is not using ambient air. You have to. So if you were to talk to different doctors and so forth that do like UV or ozone therapy, IV therapy, none of it is ambient because that's dangerous. It creates nitric acid, which is not good. So because of all the nitrogen in the air, we have 80% nitrogen in the air, along with what other pollutants are in there. So that is not good. So when they're making ozone and when we make ozone, we only use oxygen concentrators to make that ozone.
So, for example, I use the Hocket, which is you're surrounded by ozone, and I think that's ambient ozone, isn't it? Yes, that's ambient ozone.
I'm not familiar with where it feeds from, so I couldn't tell you.
Okay,
If it's
so I
just
gotta
pulling ambient air, then yeah.
Wow. Because the thing is, you cannot inhale it. It's very dangerous,
No.
right?
Yes.
So you're sitting and you basically, your whole like upper neck is covered, right? So just the head is out. Because if you want to get out of there, like if you kind of panic, you got to tell them and then you have to wait and then you have to hold your breath. So,
Yeah.
so maybe it is ambient then. It sounds like it, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So just quickly again, Mike, poor Mike beside you here. He's just sitting talking. Can we have a little introduction to Mike?
Ask Mike a question.
I will ask him a question. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say how they met. How did they meet?
Oh.
And Molly, you can fire on more questions to Mike as well. I'm glad for him.
Well, how Mike and Mike met. Michael and I met about 15 years ago now. It seems like 30, but no. Mike was in the industry. I've been in the pool and spa industry for over 30 years. Done a lot of different things. Worked for primarily equipment manufacturers, national sales manager, etc. So my responsibility was to go out and make friends like Mike. And so Mike and I met about 15 years ago. at that point when we met, he was working with another company just shortly before he started Exceptional Water Systems. So quickly we struck a friendship. Mike called me one day and said, "Hey, Mike, I got this technology. I want to show it to you, and we're getting ready to install one of the first ones on a HOA pool. Would you be interested in coming out?" I said, "Absolutely." So it was totally fascinating at that point because we did the install, came back 13 hours later the next morning, and the water looked completely different. Like Mike said, crystal clear. The water was soft as a baby's behind, and it was just amazing. And that's where it all started. And at that point, we really didn't know exactly what we had. And so that's where the research came in, the unknowns, because there's been a lot of unknowns. We're talking about quantum physics because we're dealing at the quantum physics level. And then, oh my gosh, how do we compare that, or how do we translate that to the pool industry?
Right.
That's
Which
been
is
a
like
very,
very
Yeah.
very much the opposite. It's like, you know,
yeah,
quantum physics trying to be good
totally.
for health, trying
Yeah.
to do this well, whereas like the pool industry, I feel is just chemicals and
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like when they clean a pool, I mean, I've seen it. Someone goes and cleans the pool and then they put up a hazard sign with like a crossbone, skull and crossbones. They're like, don't go in this pool for like 20 hours or you're gonna
Yeah.
die. And it's like,
Yeah.
what are they putting in
Yeah.
there? Like, I don't get it. Like it's actually terrifying because this also happened. I had an apartment building once where there was a pool spa in the building, and we had like a group chat with people in it. And this one guy said, I went in the spa today, the hot tub, and he's like, all my hair turned white. Like his whole, is that just the chlorine?
Oh.
He literally he's a darker guy. He had dark hair and all
Oh
of
my
his hair turned blonde.
Stop
And
it. Oh
he
my-
basically had a dye job on his whole body. And I'm like, oh my God. Like he just
Oh my
go,
gosh.
what's happening there? What can you guys tell us? Like how dangerous pools are? Like that's
And
pretty dangerous, right?
you know, it's crazy, but it's one of the reasons I never get any. And no pool, no spa. You couldn't drag me in there for that because a lot of
Right.
times they don't have what we call chemical controllers, and it manages the amount of chlorine and keeps pH where it needs to be and stuff. But a lot of times in those hotel pools, they just dump stuff in there to bring it back, like they had a party the night before and it turned, cloudy, and they don't have anything managing those a lot of times. And when they don't have that, the pool guy just comes in and dumps a bunch of chemicals and walks away, and you have no idea what's in there. So unless they test it, but most of the time it's not tested. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
who's
yeah,
regulating that industry? Because like even for me, like I went into pool last year, I got out and my bathing suit was a different color. It was completely
Oh my
no, it was a
gosh.
blue bathing suit and I got out and it was
yeah,
like almost white. Like I couldn't
Yeah.
believe it. I
yeah.
was in shock. I was actually in
Chlorine.
shock. Yeah.
Sorry.
That's
Welcome to
just
the
chlorine.
world of chlorine.
That's exactly it. And that's and see, that's a hard thing. What swimming pools, um, it's one of those bittersweets with us. I highly I'll say it nicely. I highly dislike swimming pools. I highly dislike them for exactly what you're saying. You never know what you're going to run into on those. And I can't tell you how many times if I went out to a ton of swimming pools that I used to go to all the time to check them and so forth, I would never get in any of them. They were just terrible. And it was just like, oh my gosh. And hence is the reason why I would never wanted a swimming pool until
Yeah.
we got to this technology and so forth. Then I wanted a swimming pool because it's so much more to it. We haven't even got to some of the other good stuff to it, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's so much more to just being a swimming pool. But what's funny about what you said was, in the state of California, and this is a good one, they won't even allow you to drain your swimming pool into the sewer systems because they don't want it in the sewer system. Now, you would think that would raise a red flag. You're like, wait a minute, you'll take my toilet water, but you won't take my swimming pool water. What am I missing here?
Wow.
What's wrong with this? Yeah,
Wow.
exactly.
And
So, and
yeah.
people don't put two and two together. And I'm like, don't you think you should be worried about what's in your swimming pool? Because the wastewater department doesn't want it.
Right. And we can also talk about this on a biological level, and what Alex and I, we like, I'm a functional practitioner. Alex is a health coach and runs a supplement company. So we're very much into health. And I mean, I have friends whose kids swam, on the swim team, and they have thyroid disorders. They have major chemical reactivity to the water now. I mean, we're talking serious stuff where this is not just like, oh, it dyed my bathing suit. Oh, oh, well, like that's like a minor issue, but like, what is it really doing to you biologically? Like, it's really harming you. It's like drinking poison in a way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or swimming in it, one of the two. And
Yeah.
I mean, and anecdotally, we have amazing stories. Even from the collegiate level, we have a system that's on Queen's University of North Carolina, and they won the Division II at the time. They won men's and women's 7 years in a row, and so they've had the system on their pool for 5 years, over 5 years, and so it's when they're home practicing or having a meet there, all the neti pots and the inhalers go away, believe it or not. But when they go back out on the road, they all come back again. So that's significant, okay? And very much in your face, for sure.
It's huge. I mean,
in Florida.
Yeah.
It's huge. Like, we could be changing people's lives. I mean, especially at like the school pool, for example. Like,
oh my God, that pool never gets ready, but 5 years. Let's get the pool there first. Yeah. So what people, a lot of people don't know is that the skin is our biggest organ, right?
Right.
So, whatever you put on the skin, what you bathe in, I mean, it will go through. So that's really important, right? To know. And so Mike and Mike, we met you guys in Miami at the biohacking conference. Molly and I was there, and we saw a phenomenal tub. Our friend Marika ended up buying the tub, and now I am lucky to be using the tub sometimes as well until I get my own tub. But it is phenomenal, and what is done for Marika and for Marika's daughter. Marika's daughter is autistic and has helped her greatly. So can we talk a little bit about, why you created the tub, first of all, and second of all, kind of what you're seeing with, with your patients or with the people that are using this tub? What are they seeing? What phenomenal things are you hearing? What success stories are you guys hearing?
Where do you want us to start?
Yeah, right. I know it's a big one, but I think it's really important.
Right.
It's really important.
So let me tell you how we first got into the tub. So we started in swimming pools and so forth. So it started a few years ago. Both my parents suffer. My mom had Parkinson's. My father had heart disease, and they loved getting in the tub. However, I would have to pick. We have a spa. It's an above ground spa. And we have that here at the facility to allow people to come in to use it that suffer from whatever. I mean, there's a long list. And trying to get them in and out of the tub, I literally had to pick up my mom and put her in there and pick her up and take her out. And it was very difficult picking up, somebody. And then when she was wet, obviously there's more in there. So it was difficult. And there was always, there's that fear factor of her slipping, falling, and that sort of thing. And as it got older and it got tougher as her Parkinson's progressed, it was super tough to do that. So it kind of more or less upset me more than anything, because here it is. I've got this great technology. I would love to help them more, and I would love to have them in the water more, but I couldn't because it was so difficult to get them over here and get them in on a regular basis. And so as I was driving back from a client's up in Durango, that's a whole nother really cool story. But as we were coming back, I'm just sitting there and we were brainstorming, and I'm like, we have to have something that's easier for the elderly to get in and out. And at the time, the only thing on my mind was the elderly. And it's like they suffer from so many different things, but yet they can't get into these bodies of water. They're too difficult for some reason or another. So we just thought, and we were like, you know what happens if we make a super small like spa tub that's self-contained that these people can get in easily? And we're like, so that was the
Wow.
light bulb moment that came on, and then we just started. So we made it very similar to a spa. So it has a skimmer, it has a filter. We put a massive filter on there, almost the same size as what you'd have on a spa, but it's on just this little tiny body of water. And then we added the entire system in there, heater and then chiller, all of that. So, and then we just started developing on that. But that's kind of the pivotal moment was there, is because it was really difficult to try and get certain people in and out of a typical spa that really could use the technology.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. Success stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what?
Two
ahead.
years of development. Yeah. I mean, it's been phenomenal. So, yeah.
But success stories from people that have used it.
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. So there's so many. First one that Carol. Yeah. Carol. Carol is in her early 70s. Yeah. Plagued with rheumatoid arthritis. And when I say plagued, it was really serious. She was about a year away from going into a wheelchair per her doctor. And she had found out about us. She started coming in and getting in to the spa on a regular basis, 2 to 3 times a week, actually. And through the progression, she was seeing significant changes. And mind you, this is a lady that has more energy than 5 people put together, but restricted because of what she was going through. So as time went on, and as she was going back to her doctor for continued checkups, he came back and said, "You have no more RA in your entire body."
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, and
A second opinion.
yeah, and she went back, got a second opinion, same thing.
Yeah.
And it's just one of many phenomenal stories. I get chilled when I talk about this, because now there's no stopping her. And now, rather than getting into the tub, she actually gets in the cold plunge. So
Nice.
here you have somebody that's in her 70s, okay, and she's staying in there for 5 minutes at a time.
Nice.
And so her journey just continues to move on, and we continually see more and more improvements. And she's got her life back. That's the most important
Of
thing.
course.
And so how
Yeah.
long did that take? How long was that, was she
2 years.
2 years of
Yeah.
using the tub? How regularly?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
There's no saying how long. I mean,
Everybody's different.
yeah,
Yeah.
she used it on a regular basis.
Okay.
At least it like Mike was saying, at least 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay.
But when the rheumatoid arthritis actually stopped, because she actually stopped going to the doctor, and she just decided to go back to him because they were going to increase her meds. Whatever meds she was on, she said they weren't doing anything for her. And then they said, obviously they told her you're going to be in a wheelchair. So they wanted to increase her meds. And she's like, she talked to her husband. She's like, I'm not doing it. I'm getting off all my meds. So she got off all her meds. So sometime between the 2 years is when the rheumatoid arthritis went away. She just decided to go back to have another checkup. And that's why the doctor was like, I've never seen anything like this. There's
Amazing.
nothing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it's
Wow.
I'm not sure exactly. We just know it's within a 2-year timeline is when it disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah, the most common things that we see in everybody that gets in the tub is detoxing, number one. You better drink water while you're sitting in the tub, or drink a lot of water afterwards. It's pretty significant. I mean,
You guys want to hear a really good
Yeah.
detoxing story?
Sure.
Yes.
So we put this on a tub for some friends of ours that actually used to work for my brother, and him and his buddy get in the pool at night, right? And they grab this bottle of Patron between two guys, 2 grown men. They go in, they're drinking this bottle. They finish the bottle, between two of them standing, and they look at each other and they're like, man, I don't feel drunk. And they go, so he gets out and he gets another bottle. So he gets out of the pool, he gets another bottle, he comes back in the pool. They finish almost 2 bottles of Patron that evening, okay, between the two of them. So the next morning he comes in, he's sitting in front of my brother, and he goes, I shouldn't be here. And he goes, oh my gosh, what happened? And he goes, you're not going to believe it. He goes, we drank almost 2 bottles of Patron. He goes, I should be out for 3 days off of work. He goes, nothing. I don't feel anything. And I'm like,
so what, it was literally just removing that toxin from his body as he was drinking it in the tub. It's like just as it's.
yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy.
That's incredible.
Nothing when he left, and when he went to bed, nothing. He just, he goes, I didn't feel drunk or anything. He just went to bed, and he goes, I got up in the morning, no hangover. He goes, function normal, everything. I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah, like you're saying, yeah, I don't know the functionality of how it did it so fast.
Wow.
I mean, that's incredible.
It's almost like it skipped the liver completely. It didn't burden the liver. It just like, wow. Well, that's not, I mean, I don't know if that's a good, a lot of people want to drink in hot tubs, you know.
They want to be.
They do. I feel like it's part of the experience in some people's world. Not in our world, we don't drink, but like, you know, it's part of that experience. But that's really cool. Well, that's a crazy story. That means you can come in having any toxin in your body, and it will like just clear it right out. I mean, that phenomenal.
That one was really fun. One thing is cool is because you said it was with hot tubs. So if you were to actually take like a dissolved oxygen meter and test the amount of oxygen in a hot tub, there's like maybe 2 or 3 parts per million of oxygen in there. So, you know, when a lot of people get out, they feel tired and, you know, like just down. When you get into our hot tub, instead of being at 2 or 3, you're at like 20 to 30 parts per million. So it's a complete opposite effect when you get in there. That's what makes it really unique.
And the other thing is when people get in a hot tub, they're at 103, 104 degrees. So when people get in our tubs, we keep it at 97 degrees because that's the best absorption rate for the oxygen to enter the body.
Body temperature,
right.
That's super interesting. And I think it's really, so you are learning as you go, and you've also some impressive people that you have kind of on your doctor staff that are testing these stats, correct? Talk a little bit about that. And also you work with athletes, right? Isn't this a big application is for athletes and recovery, which they're always looking for big recovery? I mean,
we've had a good fortune of working with some athletes, NBA players, both here and internationally, football players, a couple of Cardinals, and baseball as well. So we've had race car drivers, we've had, you name it, just kind of a gamut of people. But the one thing that the athletes notice right away is the ability to feel the effects of the oxygen quickly. And it goes back, everybody's different, everybody's bodies are different. But when you're an elite athlete, there seems to be more of a noticeable effect right away. What remains consistent is they'll say, gosh, you know, my body has like this tingling feeling. So again, we don't know what that means yet, right? And we have 2 recovery coaches as well that we work with here in Arizona. One we're hoping to start working with a lot more as well. But well,
tell them a story about when he came in.
Oh, Dave or Paul?
Yeah,
Paul. So Paul works out religiously about 4 or 5 times a week. Okay, and about the 4th day, day 4, he's absolutely spent, right? And so again, doing his proper recovery that he's always done his entire life. And then he got familiar with our tubs, and so he worked out extra hard for 3-4 days. And we said, let's get in the tub. Let's just try and see what the tub will do for you. And let's go into a 5th day. Okay. And so he got in 45 minutes to an hour. Next day, he got up. He had energy. He wasn't spent like he normally is after 3 to 4 days.
Wow.
He went out, he worked out just as hard, if not harder, than what he did the previous 3 or 4 days. And he recovered just fine. So these are the cause and effects that we're seeing in athletes, at least.
It's
So
huge.
I have a question. So after I got COVID, I went to see a doctor here and she did oxidative IV therapy on me. So you take a bag of blood out of your arm and they oxidize the blood and then they put the blood back in, reverse it back into your body. And that is supposed to circulate in your body, oxygenate the cells, and then in theory kill, the virus or where they go wherever they need to go, right, in your body. So they're hyper oxygenated cells. So what is like kind of the difference between something like that and what your pool does?
It's similar. It's more or less the hot tub would be a better example of that because there's just because it's such a smaller body of water and the body temperature is mostly the same. It's easier for the water to get in and out. But that's a good question because we've had several people that used it during COVID that had zero side effects. I'm actually one. So when I got it, I got in every day. The only thing I had was a small headache, and that was pretty much it. But it does go in and it works really similar to what you're saying there. The hard part is what we want to get more evidence on. There's nobody, as you know, there's very few doctors that are testing that ozone IV therapy and so forth.
Right.
And what we're trying to do is get doctors that can test utilizing the tub and then be able to test the blood however they need, how much ozone, oxygen, etc. is going in there, because we already know, I mean, ozone is part of that detoxing of the cells, 20 times stronger than oxygen at cleaning out those different cells. We know that it does. We just don't know to what extent it does, because it does make a huge difference in recovery. We've had people with skin cancer where it just wiped out their skin cancer. It was like, wow. But the ozone made a huge difference when we added ozone to the mix, and how fast it wiped it out. So that was really, really interesting to see.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys are gonna wipe out the dermatologists at this point. They're gonna like no sunspots, no cancer, no whatever. I mean,
They don't like you.
what am I going
Well,
to a dermatologist for? Why don't I just buy a tub?
well, maybe we can get, holistic dermatology. Okay. So
Yeah, that would really be amazing. We don't have really that so much yet.
Right.
So tell us a little bit. I mean, now I'm of course wondering, how do I get one, and where am I going to put it in my house? That's literally what I'm thinking about. So I'm sure that's what other people are thinking as we're talking to you. So can you talk about your products and what you sell, and kind of looking at price points and things like that, and just give everybody a little bit of more information on how to get it?
Yeah, so 2 tubs, 2 models. We have the warming recovery tub, which seems to be very popular with obviously people of older ages that are not going to want to get into the cold plunge. Okay, like Mike mentioned, it's like a small spa. We have a 50 square foot filter. It's all fully programmable to do your cycles, your filtration, etc. Tub does not need to be changed or filled every time you use it, which makes it nice, and that's because of the 50 square foot filter. So there's a lot of benefits behind that itself. It's very user friendly. So when it arrives to your house, basically you take it, you put it in place where you want to put it. It could be indoor or outdoor. It could be hard plumbed or not. So we have a drain out the side of the tub. And it's plug and play. You plug it in and you're ready to go. You program it and you're just good to go. What's important is, whether it's the cold plunge warming tub or just the warming tub, is when you're filling the tub and the water that you're filling your tub with, okay,
Yeah.
becomes very, very important. So we have a pre-filter that we offer people. It's a carbon filter. So we take and we hook that up to a small hose. And then on the other end,
And the metals.
yeah, and the metals and in the water too. Mike, just remind me.
Yeah.
It's a dual filter, so
Yeah.
it has the carbon first, you know, for chlorine and such. But there's another proprietary filter, not ours, but
Yeah.
it pulls out a lot of heavy metals, nickel, copper, iron, all these other things that are super important to pull that out of the water.
So then you fill your tub with the pre-filter, and that's very, very important. So it's something that we're encouraging people when they're purchasing something, make the investment. It's not a very large investment at all.
Right.
And then once you're ready to go, yeah, it's very easy. Indoor, outdoor use, it comes with a cover. The warming tub is right around the $24,000 retail price. The combination cold plunge warming tub is about 28,000.
And what if you wanted to convert your pool? Could you do that?
Much, yeah, we could do that. We could do any pool
You
for
could.
sure.
It's I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a much bigger body of water and a bigger job, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
So what we learned, we all came up with challenges after COVID, right? So our challenges within the pool industry is education and the ability to do and plumb things correctly. So we made a major pivot where our pool products were always wall mounted, and we're going, no, that's not going to work. And the quality of workmanship and everything else that we were going through drove us to create skid mounted units. So everything that we do now, whether it's from an existing spa, okay, in ground, above ground, to say a 20,000 gallon pool, which seems that's about the average pool. Everything that gets mounted on a skid and put into place. So you plumb the inlet and plumb the outlet, and you're done. So it takes out all the guesswork of all this other plumbing that we had to do in the past. So we made it very easy. So we could do anything from in-ground spa, say 300 gallons, all the way on up to 100,000 gallon backyard pool or larger, because we
Wow.
do those too. And then commercially, yeah, we could do anything up to 850,000 gallon pool, competition pools. Yeah.
And how much does that run, roughly? What are the
Uh,
price kind of?
Yeah, ranging from the
That's
residential
tough.
pool, I'm gonna say $26,000. Okay. A very large pool, like a competition pool, will be up in the 150,000, somewhere in there.
Yeah. That's a
And
lot of
but you
water.
just won't get the same concentration in there as the tubs of the ozone.
No,
No,
Right.
no.
no.
So that's kind of on steroids, the tub is like, right? Right.
Yeah,
you-
because
Yes.
when we met you, okay, at the biohack, we had the cold and the warming tub at the show.
Yeah.
And we chose to keep it on the cold plunge side for the 3 days. And we measured it constantly every day throughout the day. And we had over 55 or over 50 parts per minute of oxygen in that tub. So obviously the colder the water is, the more oxygen we're able to retain.
Yeah.
So
You-
what's interesting with that is you said at 37 degrees is when you absorb the oxygen and the ozone the best. Is that correct?
No, 97.
No, 97. No, sorry, 97. That's what I meant, not 37. Yeah. I'm thinking Celsius. Sorry.
Celsius.
Yeah, the 97. So how does that work then with a cold plunge? Like, and also you can't stay in very long in the cold plunge. I mean,
Right.
No.
so it must be, I mean, it must be more advantageous to have the warm one, I guess, for the purpose of absorbing the oxygen and the ozone.
It depends on what you're using it for. So like for I'll say like weight trainers. So if you're looking to get size and weight training and so forth, you're looking to grow, you wouldn't get in a cold plunge after you worked out because it stops the growth process, it
Right.
starts the healing and so forth. So you would get in the hot tub. So you get in there, it's hot tub, it's warm anyways, body temperature. Now you get that absorption. It actually wipes out all of the lactic acid buildup because lack of oxygen in there. So now your muscles and everything get to recover super fast. And then depending on what type of minerals you have in there, now you get all the minerals part of that. That's a big factor in there. So clean, healthy water, you got to have the minerals, you have the oxygen for the carrying and so forth, transportation. So it makes a huge difference. Now, on the other side, if you're starting your workout, you go in the cold plunge first and you get in there for, whatever your trainer wants you to, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, whatever. Then you go start your workout. Now you got oxygen, you're charged, you're ready to go. You go do your workout and then you get charged at the end again.
So we need two types, really. We need two,
Yeah.
right? Everyone needs
Oh,
two.
For the ultimate experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, that's great. That's
You
great.
guys make a whole house water filter also?
No, we don't, but we have a friend that Alexandria is very familiar with because she just got one 2 days ago, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but we work with a company called PH Prescriptions, and they are the best when it comes to home water, whole home systems, and they do a lot of other things too. They have an amazing shower. I don't know. Did Leo share the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
shower
The
thing?
hydrogen shower. It starts
Yes.
Molly, the hydrogen shower starts at like 60 grand and it goes up to like 100 grand. So you
Right.
can shower in like mega saturated hydrogen.
Yeah.
Okay. And what is
Yeah.
the benefit of that then?
Oh my God. Like everything.
Yeah.
Is superhuman.
How much time do you have?
Yeah. That takes another
You can
whole
fly
podcast.
afterward.
Yeah, exactly.
We could do part 2
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, we gotta kind of stop it almost. Like it's so many more questions.
I
We
know.
haven't asked them the
Oh.
questions we're gonna ask them, but I think this is pretty good.
Yeah, this is amazing. You guys are really onto something incredible. One other thing I had is just, are there any negative sides to it? Are there any, negative benefits to laying in it, for being in it too long, anything like that?
If there is, we have yet to experience it and yet to hear it from anybody that's been studying so far. So there are people that talk about it and they say, over too much oxygen, etc. But your body only takes in what it's going to take in. So it's not going to carry more than what it can carry. So you're just sitting in it. And I will say it's not like, hyperbaric oxygen therapy is more the pressurized, and your ears can only take so much because of the pressure.
Right.
Completely different. You're sitting in it, it's natural pressure, your body's only taking what it can take in and so forth. And then of course the oxygen helps with all the inflammation, any type of inflammation and swelling in the body. So it's different.
Yeah.
It's different in that aspect. So the cool part is water is 800 times more dense than air. So when you think about that, plus we have, 30 to 50 plus parts per million of oxygen in that water that's completely coming in, going in, saturating the cells and so forth, allowing for the inflammation, swelling to go down, and it allows the body to heal itself. Along with, you get the right minerals in there, now it's a different world. I mean, it's absolutely completely different. So when you get those right minerals in the right places and so forth, it helps on so many different levels. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
So
Which-
sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Oh, no, go
Which
ahead.
I was going to just say, we introduced the minerals to Alexandria, our blends. We have 3 different blends. So we have modality, recovery, and one for skin as well. So
Did you use that when you went in your friend's tub?
No, I haven't yet. I'm going to talk to her today about that. I'm excited. These guys are amazing. How can people find you? How can we find you? Do you have a website, Instagram, social, Twitter?
Yep, it's very easy. Pneuma, so it's Pneuma Industries.com. And it's the website's amazing. We have more testimonials on there as well. We've got white paper studies on there, so you can kind of really dig in deeper. And much more to come as we continue our journey.
So exciting. And if anyone wants a tub, I'm here. I offer white glove service to install these beautiful tubs.
Yes, you do, and that's why we love you.
Yeah. Well,
Love
I feel
it.
like every household needs this, and we got to get them in dermatology offices. Can you imagine?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Incredible.
absolutely. We're working on it. We're
I can
working
see
on it.
so many places where this would be gyms, you know, I mean, gosh, it's,
Oh.
and
Oh, yeah.
especially
Oh,
in
yeah.
Florida, like where everybody has bodies of water, so, you know, outside their house. I think it's like so critical. So,
Yeah.
so this
Yeah.
is really important work you guys are doing. So thank you. Thank
Amazing.
you
You're welcome.
Very
thank you for
welcome.
chatting with us, and thank you for
Thank you
all the
so
hard
much.
work you're doing, and we're excited. So I hope you get some purchases this week. We'll see. Amazing.
Right. Yes. Thanks for having us.
Yes,
Absolutely.
appreciate it so much.
So much
Thank
fun.
you.
So much
Yes.
fun. Thank you. Thank you
All
guys.
righty.
Very welcome.
Have a lovely Memorial Day weekend.
Yes.
You too, be safe.
Enjoy. Take
Thank you,
care.
everyone.
Bye
Thank
now.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.